And you're live.
Alright, so dredfunn draws. The Wheel of Chance, episode 2. I got my Wheel of Chance. Tried this once before. I don't know if it got lost in the Twitch verse, but I already did a Daredevil, so we've got the Beast, Captain Marvel, Iron Fist, Punisher, Martian Manhunter, Black Canary, and the Tick. These are all characters that I'm not familiar with, and some of them...
Can you zoom in?
Yeah, I'll zoom in.
There you go.
And some of them I haven't even, I've yet to ever draw, like Beast and Black Canary. I don't think I've ever drawn, maybe even the Tick. But anyways, okay, we're going to give this a spin and see who we're doing tonight. Okay, so this is starting to look like this is rigged for Daredevil. Alright, we'll try it again. Give it a little more pop. Okay, so we're on Martian Manhunter. So DC Comics Martian Manhunter. I'm probably going to go with classic Martian Manhunter. Let's see what we got here. I want to find his outfit. Yeah, looks like, yeah, that's, we're going to go with the classic sort of. Yeah, that brings back, well, wait, how do I get out of here, Des? Crap,
Where are you?
No, it's fine. I just need, like, a reference.
Okay.
These will work.
There you
Boom. Okay, got a good enough reference. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the classic with the red, I guess, X going across his chest. So right now I'm just gonna bring this out. Grab my pencil if I got it. And again, I'm gonna be working mostly on just like I said, I got a little reference drawing I've done over here. I like this pose. And that's something that I'm going to probably use for Mr. Martian Manhunter. Alright, so yeah, he is a Martian, and he doesn't really actually hunt men. Or anybody, I guess. But here we go. So, I'm going to do the same kind of thing where it's just kind of a rough skeletal outline, and we'll go from there. I'm going to try to make this fairly quick too. I'm not going to talk as much unless people are asking me questions or unless something comes to my head. So I'm going to go with like sort of a crossing his arms pose. I'm already telling that I don't like the way this is looking. So I'm going to crack out my pliable eraser and we're going to try a different tact. Alright, so we'll move the head up. Let's see if you guys can see that. Yep, perfect. Alright. So for this part, I think I'm actually going to move that over here too to help. Yeah, there we go.
It's working.
What's working?
Look.
What do you mean?
The shoulders.
Oh, it's on YouTube?
Yep.
Sweet. Okay, so.
Welcome to our YouTube.
Yeah. All my millions of YouTube fans. So the reason why I'm doing this is I just sort of having a hard time. I'm kind of tired and I've been drawing other stuff. Kind of setting up the way I want this whole thing to look. So the ear is going to be right about here. Our headline's going to... So I'm going to have them kind of looking down. And then these arms are going to sort of cross. I guess across his chest is what I'm going to go for. And then the torso right here. So yeah, okay, I think I got enough that I'm gonna sort of just kind of speed this out here. We got a good view, not bad. So one thing I keep in mind when drawing, when I'm thinking about drawing the Martian Manhunter, because I haven't really drawn him, but the Hulk correlates, is Mr. Manhunter has quite the brow ridge. And he's got kind of an alien sort of look to him. Some folks have drawn him with more of like a, I guess I'll show you right here, more of his Martian type head that goes almost like a cone head. I'm not going to bother doing that. We're going to stick to the, like I said, the classic look. I try to thicken up his neck a bit. And again, this is a tough thing. I'm still figuring this all out, practicing this type of style. Normally, like I would have many more references, and this would be a lot less freehand. It would be more, yeah, see, not liking that. There we go. That was a problem. Alright. So the arm is going to come under here. This one's going to go over here. And I kind of want his torso sort of like this. The upper chest. And then we're going to put the legs. One's going to come down. And the other like this. All the millions watching at home, eh? The struggle's real, folks. Said this is hard because, like I said, normally I would measure things out, you know, like have them exactly a certain head high. I think maybe what I'm going to just do is try to, for now, just go a little smaller, I guess. Stick to this pose too. What I've learned is a lot of it gets lost and gained in this positioning right here with the legs. I don't know if you guys can see it, but having one splayed back, I myself get caught up in it. Where my symmetry, my mind plays tricks with my eyes, and I want to put these feet in a position that doesn't look as natural. But to me, I'm good at convincing myself that it looks natural. So here we go. Yeah, this is working a little better, like in this size range. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have his elbows flaring this time more. And that's a good base. I think I'm actually going to zoom us out a bit more. I don't know. Yeah, actually, it's not too bad. So I'm take a picture for posterity. So I'm already liking this one. Alright, now I'm going to fill out the anatomy here. We're going to neck muscle. Again, he's a superhero, so he is a biggin. Everything's going to be exaggerated. All the musculature is going to be large. Can already tell that I think I'm probably going to lengthen his torso. And yeah, well, see, because right under here, this part of the body is going to come back. Yeah, that works. And then these muscles, ab muscles. Yeah, we're going to have to make these legs a little bit longer. That's fine though. This one goes here, boom. And I'm probably just going to, this is going to be like an ink. We're not going to get too much into coloring or anything. Just, you know, stick with what you know. Stick with what you're comfortable with for now, I guess, is my motto. Again, so this leg is going to be staggered. This one is going to be the back leg. So it's going to actually, the foot's going to come out sort of like this. And again, when I'm blocking this out, I'm not so much concerned with getting everything perfect. I like to go in and pull out this underlining structure that I put down, just because I find it helps a little bit. And then yeah, that's a good look. So now gonna go ahead and roughly detail where everything's gonna go. We're gonna have some eyes here. Again, he's got those brow ridges. Ariel Olavetti, I think, is my favorite. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Either way, I liked his work on Martian Manhunter. He did a single series a while back, and it was really well done. I'm probably mispronouncing his name or saying it wrong, whatever the case is. So, basically, he is a bald humanoid with pronounced brow ridges and red eyes. That's how he looks. The muscles down here, the best thing you can do is, if you yourself don't have the physique, most of us do though, if you know what you're looking for, you look in the mirror and check how your own body looks, muscle-wise, like, you know, the way you like your arm and stuff. And I'm not a great representative all the time. I mean, lighting is everything. So what I like to do is like to check out bodybuilding magazines, powerlifting magazines, rugby, all kinds of athletes, especially when you want to see them in their like clothing and in a almost, I don't want to say natural environment, but natural movements. So they're not all posed up and making it look good for the camera. Again, this foot is kind of in the wrong position, so we're gonna have to move that a bit. He's got boots, so I don't really have to worry too much about making the toes. I mean, I do have a hard time with toes and feet sometimes. Not as bad as Mr. Liefeld, or I don't receive as much hate, but definitely.
I complain.
Yeah, you complain. My wife sits in on most of these. Alright, so we'll take another nice picture. And now we're going to go ahead and I guess I'm going to gussy him up and give him his uniform here. In the classic, he's got sort of two, I guess they're brooches. That's a kind of awful thing to call them. Pauldings, I don't know, but anything. He's got these things that clasp with a rope that goes across, and he doesn't have your classic Spawn, type of back piece. It's more like something you would see in like an old English style coat. At least that's the closest approximation I've ever found, where it actually comes up, goes around, and then sort of comes around to the other side. And it's going to be the same on this side, but slightly different. So you're going to have to sort of play around with it. But yeah, that's kind of roughly what we're going for. And he has a cape. I'm not going to get too crazy with the cape. I'm going to just sort of have it billowing a little bit here. And then he has a circular part in his belt, and then these things connect. So this connects down to this corner and then back, and then it would subsequently either have I think it has an X connection in the back, but he wears a cape, so hard to tell. The way these this is actually a good idea to show you guys. The way these straps are going to come down. This one, you're going to want to balance it this way, but it's actually going to parallel, kind of, because the way the pec muscle comes across. So you see how it's an arcing type line, I guess. What else has he got? I know, most people draw them with the blue shorts. I think I'm going to go with that. I'll add some of the sequencing here that I've seen in some of the books. I like that. And then he's got big old weird pirate boots. Like Captain America's go down to here, like his go way down. They almost flare out a little bit. And then this side of the cape here. There we go. Not too bad. I'm liking that. Now, what I'm going to do is basically just tighten this up a little bit. We're going to go in here and detail the face up a little bit. Talk too much, just going to sort of go. Again, he's an alien. He's a stoic looking alien, so very stern and rough features. I'm not going to be so concerned with how clean every line is. Just going to try to get this out there. Again, these things, if you want, you can detail the underside. So since we're sort of looking up, this side would have like a little lip on it. And then the forearms, I never did check it out. I don't think he has anything on his arms. Yeah, he's bare-armed. Perfect. So this is going to sort of bend in around here. And then the forearm comes up like this. The tricep, the delts. The delts up and over here. And then this bicep. And the forearm, the elbow. Again, they're not going to look exactly the same because we're in a different position. But like I said, studying these real humans especially, but also pumped up bodybuilder type humans, basically all of it. You know, like if you want to learn how to draw trees, you're not just going to draw maple trees. You know, you're going to learn the difference between poplars and maples and oaks and whatnot. At least that's how I would approach it. Alright. Just finishing up the belt. Muscles in the legs where the knees come in. Actually gonna go in there and erase some of this stuff here, so just detail the boots. It's got your classic superhero boot, which looks like the most impractical footwear on the planet. They just look like poorly designed wrestling boots, and wrestling boots are really comfortable from what I've been told. At least the good ones are. So maybe they are comfortable, but they just don't look very practical. Alright, there we go. That's a pretty good rendering. Don't forget that he's going to have his cape coming up and over, coming down. There we go. Now, I'm not going to worry so much about adding any blacks or darks or whatnot. I'm just going to go in and we're going to detail this puppy up with some pencils or some pens. We're, what, 18 minutes in. That's markedly faster than my Daredevil. I'm going to grab a 1 and a 5. Probably zoom in for this bit here. Get a good look at the face. That's pretty good. And we're going to detail her up. The way I approach inking is a little bit different than the way I pencil. It's closer to how I detail my realistic pencils, which just, again, it's a similar principle, just different styles. Keeping in mind that Mr. Martian's nose is broad, and like I said, he's a very stoic and stern looking alien. He's going to have like a brow ridge. Not exactly like you would see in a Neanderthal or exactly like you would see in Hulk. It's a little bit different. It's got more of a puffiness to it. Again, he's an alien. He's from Mars. He's a Martian. So he's going to have some slight differences. The zygomatic arch right in here, that's a keen area to really highlight and add a level of sternness to the drawing and the face. Now we're going to go ahead and detail up the head. Then I'm going to add his cloak thing. So it kind of goes up like that. We got another piece here. The neck comes down. That fits over this way, and this one's going to be like that, I guess. Again, if I was trying to make this look realistic, I would actually research a whole bunch of petticoats and peacoats and try to see if I could find the exact collar that this thing is reminding me of. But this is just an exercise in drawing. Again, I like to switch, and I prefer to pull with my pen whenever I can. Ooh, is that a rhyme? Must have been on time, or at least well timed. Alrighty. Now I'm just going to detail a little bit of that underside. And now I'm going to, you know what, I'm going to actually darken up this skull line a bit. Might keep you guys on this spot here and just move into the arms, yeah. Again, it's good to keep in mind that no human is going to have proportions exactly like you're going to find in the comic book realm. Even bodybuilders, they just don't have the same kind of dimensions. There'll be certain parts that are, like, I mean, you'll see it, like Lou Ferrigno, the Incredible Hulk. I'm a well-built man, 6'4", 270, 280 pounds. But, you know, standing next to him, that's a big dude, but that's just not the Hulk. Like, dimension-wise, like, the Hulk is just massive. You can't get that normal size and dimensions in the real world, or at least not in the real human world. Again, I'm just sort of detailing, again, keeping in mind that the deltoid splits into 3 heads. The back of the tricep splits into 2 heads. And make sure we're still on camera here. Bring it around, and we're going to do his belt. Again, I like to pull. This has been a hard technique to learn, because I used to actually back and forth, almost like a scribble technique when I was younger. I used that with pens, with pencils, with everything, and it can work. It's pretty good. Found it a little limiting. I like a lot of blacks, solid blacks. I'm keen on those, but I also really keen on the contrast with solid blacks. Here, let's move these out so we can get all the legs here. Alright, now this quad is going to come out like that, the kneecap, and then the boots. Not to harp again on bodybuilders, but if you're looking for classic bodybuilder heroic poses, like in the bodybuilding world, they do have a lot of those, like hands on the hips, arms crossed like this, trying to look tough. So the more you draw something, the better you get at it. So this is my first, I don't think I've ever drawn Mr. John Jones. Or John Johns, I don't know exactly how they pronounce it. Alrighty. Now we're going to go to the boots. The boots, the boots, the boots are on fire. So yeah, we're doing the cape, and I like to keep it simple, stupid. I'm not going to be going too windy, but going to make it billow a bit, like that. That's pretty good. Maybe add a line down here, a couple here. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bit of hatching, and then we're going to finish this puppy up with a little bit of gray tone. And that's how I think I'm going to finish this guy up. I'm liking the fact that we're in for about a half hour, and this quicker technique seems to be working. We got him set up. Any questions? What's that? No, I've never been to space. Why would somebody ask me if I've been to space? Huh? What's up? Oh, no, he's not a real Martian Manhunter. It's a comic book DC character. I think somebody was asking a question. I'm joking. Nobody's asking questions. I'm entertaining myself.
Actually, somebody on YouTube commented, so cool.
Oh, hey, thanks, ZL. Zeal? Yeah, Zeal.
That's who's Zeal.
Zeal. Thanks, Zeal. It is cool. Not me, per se, but
Martian Manhunter's cool.
Martian Manhunter is cool. Having all this tech is cool. Being able to draw here in the confines of my studio and having potential people someday that I could talk to that I wouldn't talk to in the real world because I'd be too shy. Anyways, we're gonna, yeah, I don't like the way I set his head up here, but oh well. Now I'm just gonna add some hatching. There's a lot of reasons why you can add hatching and how to add it. If you just want to look at somebody that knows what they're doing and just marvel in awe, Bernie Wrightson is the best to look at. The way he hatches, almost like those old school etchings. That's another thing that you can look at is etchings. They definitely, their hatching techniques are awesome. What helps me a lot, believe it or not, is checking out non-comic book and non-human related etchings or inkings. So like animals and plants and trees and just weird stuff that you'd never think. You'd be like, wow, that kind of looks like something I could use if I can, you know, get my head wrapped around it. And that's the way I trick myself into learning, because I'm very oppositional to the point where it doesn't even make sense why I'm opposing certain things. So I'm always aware of that, or trying to be aware of it. So I'm just gonna basically make a choice to hatch this whole underside of the arm. It's going to add some depth. I personally like to go with a single hatch and then come across the grain. It's appeasing to my OCD, apparently. but it's just the way I like to personally do it. So if I'm on this side, I hatch on this angle. If I'm on this side, I hatch on this angle. It sometimes limits me because sometimes I want to break away from that and just hatch this way. Look at that, I just did. So I guess it's not that hard, is it? Yeah. Okay, and I'm going to hatch underneath here. Again, hatching, the whole point of this back in the day with etching is you didn't have color. You didn't even have like shades of gray. So in order to show depth in your drawings and your illustrations, which were shown in a wide variety of areas like newsprint and the printed press and all that, you had to make them simple and they had to be lined. So some of it is just incredible. You'd have all thick lines in certain areas to show that the material or the rendering is of a thick design, and other times they will have the spacing wider so it looks thinner and wispier. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I just know what I see. Like, oh god, I was a terrible student. Like, even in art class, like I must have drove more than a handful of teachers insane. Just because the way I see things. And we've learned to embrace it around here. So there's really no rhyme or reason to a lot of the hatching I do, other than what I've tried to explain. It's just a process that I've done for a while, and I can get really detailed, and in other areas, like this particular drawing, I'm just sort of using it to, I guess, fill the drawing out somewhat, add depth, make it look like I know what I'm doing. I don't know. Like I said, sometimes I look at Jim Lee's hatch work and it's like, wow, that dude didn't know what he was doing before he started. But then you look at the end product and you're like, yeah, well, there's something to be said for practice. Alright, so I am going to add a little bit of black with the graphite pen. I'm going to go in here and just darken this up a bit. Mostly because I'm running out. And that's about it. I might add a little bit under here. Yeah, a little bit here and here. Yeah. Okay, so he's sufficiently alien looking enough, or I don't know, at least an alien that thinks, I guess technically he's an alien that's trying to make himself look how wait a minute.
How he thinks a human looks?
No, how he thinks a human would think an alien looks.
Oh.
Because isn't that what this is?
Yes.
Right. John Jones, the Martian Manhunter, is an alien from Mars, so a Martian, that can make himself look like anything he wants, but he chooses to look like a humanoid version of his Martian self. I think I read in a comic somewhere he feels that is easier for the human to accept, because his original form is much different. Like, we'll do a little sidetrack here. Like, his original alien form has got like a long head, so he's got like eyes like this, mouth, and then his body's all like strangely elongated, if memory serves me. So like weird long, and I think that has something to do technically with gravity. And then he's got all these like ridges, so he looks like a big green human-faced alien, like from the Geiger aliens, I guess. I don't know, but either way, humans would be right around here, so much shorter. So he's like, 6.5 feet, so pretty tall, but not gigantic. Alright, take another picture for posterity. And yeah, I don't like the way that head got positioned at all. Yeah. But these live drawings are just, yeah, Jim Lee is a god next to Michael Turner, yes. Yeah, the 40-inch slip. Yeah, I've actually, at some of the Comic-Cons I've been to, I remember a while back seeing some of Michael Turner's stuff still being promoted with a company. Like he's since passed. His Aspen work and his Witchblade work was phenomenal. But a lot of copycats, a lot of talented. I don't want to say copycats in a disrespectful way, but a lot of people inspired by his work. So yeah, I'm gonna add some gray tones here, and basically he's got blue. Okay, so we'll go with some light here. Alright, gonna do the head. Let's see if everybody can see that. Basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna gray tone his whole body. What?
He has a bunch of comics, a signed copy of the preview of Ecos, which never came out. Echoes?
Who does?
40 Slip.
Yeah, I know. I've talked, yeah, Chris, yeah. Well, what I was trying to say before I got off track is, remember, we talked to Adam about this on the one ride up, because I thought it was awesome that Michael's stuff is still out there. And, like, I can remember when he passed, it was pretty sad, because he was young. And Adam was explaining that, yeah, the guy who runs the company, and I'm not exactly sure if I'm 100% right, but basically with the family or the estate's consent on Michael's humorously, I guess, his consent, or like when he was alive, that company still sells his originals and like prints and stuff. And then they also do other comics, and a lot of it is to help out people that have the same condition. I think it was actually cancer that got him. Got Michael Turner. Alright. Yeah, so we're going to gray tone this all up. He is a Martian that has green, so in lieu of green, I'm just going to give him some gray. Again, this is a technique I use a lot on Bob's channel, Bob Gimlin YouTube. He does a lot of cryptid and Bigfoot related videos, and like I do a lot of illustrations in this genre and style. Alright, now coming to the part where going to decide what, I think the blues are going to be dark, and the yellows are going to be white, and the reds are going to be probably a double shot of this, so technically I should have colored that whole thing in.
You are right, it was bone cancer.
Bone cancer, yeah, I know. Like, we had a lot of similar interests. He was into martial arts and a very successful artist, whereas me at the time, I was not even a successful human being, I don't think. Alright.
Died at the age of 37.
Yeah, that was insane. When was that? Like
2008.
Gosh, yeah. Yep. 12 years ago.
40 and Slip, he died way too young. His Superman Batman runabout Kara is amazing.
Yep.
Did he not do? Was it Witchblade?
Witchblade was where he made his name. And then Aspen was his own self-created under, I believe, Top Cow. And then Fathom, that's it. Aspen is, I think, the name of the comic company.
Soulfire?
Yeah. Yeah, oh, another sad.
Oh. He was discovered by Mark Silvestri at a convention and was hired by Top Cow.
Yeah, back in the good old days when things like that could happen.
They could still happen.
Oh, for sure they could. For sure they could. But there's a lot of people hoping that that can happen.
Well, of course.
And whatever is going to happen isn't going to happen the way that it already happened. It might, but, like, I mean...
And Aspen MLT was his own comic company.
Okay, that's it, yeah. Yeah, so... Just adding some extra tone to this gray here. Again, it just adds a level of depth to the drawing, to the image. And it's a quick, neat technique that's hard to reproduce for others, or so I've been told. Not really been told, I guess people imagine that it's hard to reproduce. But yeah, it's in lieu of having Copic markers, I went down this road. So yeah, that's pretty good. Now I got a little bit of the darker stuff, but not a lot. Let's see if we can mix that up and make it a little bit lighter.
Oh, that's neat. Chris says that he heard that he met Silvestri as a waiter at a restaurant and showed him some of his art. Silvestri told him to improve, and he did, and then he hired him.
Ah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that sounds closer to accurate.
That's not what Wikipedia says.
No, but anybody can
Yeah, I know.
Wikipedia. And you know what? That from a certain point of view, that is correct. No, I didn't cut off your father's legs, Luke. No, I wouldn't do that. From a certain point of view.
He was also an avid video game player
Yeah.
and held an instructor-level red sash in martial arts, as well as being an award-winning water skier.
Yeah, he was like the, kind of like what I try to be, a Renaissance man. Well, no, just a lot of
well-rounded.
Well-rounded, yeah. Like a lot of folks, like they'll spend a lot of time in this position, and and unfortunately, it's really easy to let your diet slip. And if you let that happen, and then you're not exercising, before you know it, you're not doing well.
Oh, I did not know that. Turner also created the online comic adaptations for the NBC television series Heroes. I really enjoyed those.
Yeah, no, yeah, I remember that.
I didn't know that.
No, we knew that at the time, Des. We did. I remember talking about it.
Remember.
Yeah. Because I thought it was super awesome. Yeah, because I remember we checked out some of the concept art. Remember? We saw it somewhere. I think it was part of the show. Kind of like The Mandalorian was. Maybe that's why we like The Mandalorian.
Maybe.
Yeah, they did do that at the end of the show. They would show montages
I
of...
don't think so.
No?
No, it was an online comic thing. It was like extra stuff you could go online and read.
Oh, yeah, he did that too. I'm talking about... I have no idea what I'm talking about.
It was so long ago.
Yep, so long ago. I'm 47. 47. Might as well be from the dinosaur times. Alright, so what I'm doing right now is just waiting for this to dry. What?
What does it say? Read it out loud.
Where?
Last comment.
Des is right. The Michael Turner stuff was the online comic.
Yeah. Des is right.
Yeah, okay. From a certain point of view.
No.
Listen.
What he said was Des was right. I am right. I'm always right.
The reason why I got a certain point of view on my head is I've recently failed at what I thought would be an epic Obi-Wan Kenobi Darth Vader image. It just blew. Did not turn out. Alright. What am I doing right now? I'm not farting. I am checking to see if this is dry. Reason being is it can splay out and not good. But, you know what? It doesn't have to be a perfect drawing, so let's have at it.
Oh, is there another YouTube comment there? I can't see this. It's the red
Martin Kalir. Hi.
dot. Oh, hi.
What's up, Martin? I know a lot of Martins.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thanks. This is a blast. I said this is really hard for me, folks, if you don't understand. This is the place that I've been creating YouTube videos in for 5, 6, 7 years, and the place I do all my commission work in, and it's normally blasting with music and podcasts and noise and just to keep me from getting slightly distracted, like I currently keep getting distracted. Alright, so we're gonna add in a darker gray. So that first gray, what?
Everyone always dates short women so he can have the high ground.
Yeah, I bet she does, yeah. He's not allowed to date women. He's a Jedi! Oh, to be a Jedi.
Oh, and for those watching on YouTube, we are actually multi-streaming with Twitch, so if the conversation seems a little off, it's because we're also answering questions on Twitch as well as YouTube.
Yeah, what she said. Yeah, well, that's why it's not just Fred Dunn's YouTube channel. I co-opted my wife without her knowledge to be my business partner. That's why it's dredfunn. It's not the whole reason. Some other goon stole my name.
I think you'll find it's their name as well.
Oh crap, you're right, it is their name technically. So yeah, I'm going to use this dark to represent this darker, so it's like a 50% blend of ink and water. This, one thing you got to keep in mind with this, if you don't want streaking, you gotta be quick. You can't let certain areas dry before you move on, so I'm always conscious of that. This whole area is going to have to get done before I move on to any other area. So if I want to do this boot, which I'm going to do, got to do the whole boot. Like leaving it for the amount of time that I just left it, no big deal. But if I leave it any longer, there would be like a line or a streak. People are like, why would you do that then? Why not just use something else that doesn't do that? Well, a lot of things do that, and I actually use the streaking on occasion as a technique, usually to show like stuff like clouds, and like I said, a lot of the paid work I've been getting lately, it's not the most exciting sometimes, because like, you know, it's, you got to set a scene, and it's a lot like, it's not a comic book per se, but it's sequential, like a comic book. So a lot of the stuff that I've learned doing comic books translate well to storytelling on YouTube. So if you are a aspiring YouTuber or a successful or you know what, you got some extra cash, you can always find like an online artist to help fulfill your dreams. I'm not saying get me, you know, I can use, I'll take the job if I can do it. But there's a lot of super talented artists on YouTube. I haven't really checked out much on Twitch. There's
a lot of talented ones on Twitch.
Yeah, I imagine. Facebook for sure. I've seen, like, it's crazy. Learned a long time ago that you got to try not to let it get you down. The other people's success, you got to look at it like you're competitive, like I want to succeed too, but you want others to as well. Not everybody shares that thought. They may share that thought openly but not practice it personally. I don't know, I try to. But yeah, there's lots of talented folks online, and like I said, if you're a YouTube content creator, a lot of them I think are running into problems where it's almost cheaper or not cheaper, but easier to just get an artist to fulfill what it is they're looking for than to try to spend all that time looking for the images themselves online and then having to pay the licensing fees and whatever else that goes along with it. Alright, what are we at? 50 minutes. That's not bad for a quick little sketch. Now I'm going to go in and darken this a little bit. Add some depth to the under area here. Not that anybody asked, but the big inspiration for this technique is, like I've said before, stuff I've seen in the Walking Dead comics. Really love the way that they digitally use those gray tones. They're super awesome. So this is me trying to do it in the real world. But the digital. Not that digital isn't great. Digital's awesome. For those that have that kind of affinity. I've used digital many times in the past. But it's just not something I'm comfortable with. Nothing. Or not as comfortable with. Okay, just waiting for this last little bit to dry and then we're going to finish this drawing up. Yeah, let's see. It's looking good. Yeah. So again, I'm going to use this 50-50 blend of ink and water, and I'm going to use that to add another layer of shade. Shadow, and this will help to give depth and layers to the drawing, or technically the image, because it's more than just a drawing. So I'm actually going to use this darker area I'm going to color in this whole cape darker, just the underside. Something I'll also do on occasion is I will add another layer of ink, like I'll use an ink brush to go over certain areas to make the drawing pop, but we're not going to do that for this one. Just going to keep it simple. A lot of the reason is really you got to wait almost 24 hours to let this whole thing dry. I mean, you can wait till it's dry and then put the ink on it, but again, you're going to have some bleeding. And what I mean by bleeding is certain colors, not certain colors, but the lighter grays are going to bleed into the darker grays, and that's going to make it look different. See right here, this isn't dry. So that's going to have like a kind of a splayed out effect, which in itself is not bad. Like I said, it's all cool. And developing your own style, this all fits into that. You want something that looks like you've seen it before, but not exactly. You know, like I love the fact that like Jim Lee and J. Scott Campbell and all those guys, Silvestri, another one, their art styles were so popular and so inspirational to so many artists that you can see it to this day. You can see who was inspired by who and what, just in the way that their art has become and has progressed. Most of the successful ones I see are the ones that start off inspired by somebody and then use a combination of what they've learned along the way, and a lot of times what they've learned outside of the field that they're in.
Tony Daniels is a prime example.
Yes, yeah, Tony Daniels is a good example of that.
That wasn't me, that was Chris.
No.
Though I sounded very intelligent there for a second.
Yeah, no, Tony is a great example. Not as familiar with his work, but like I know of it. There we go. So I think I'm happy with that. I'm just going to let it dry a bit, and yeah, so that's pretty much kind of how I approach gray tone comic technique. Again, I would use a thicker pen or my ink brush to go over certain areas. Right now I'm just going to clean up some stuff here.
He is a Silvestri-like guy, and I think he worked with Silvestri.
I think that's where I know him from, yeah. Because there's like guys like Capullo and all those guys that, like I said, they start off and you can see who they're really heavily inspired by. And then, you know, Jay Lee's another one that was, I always thought was very Jim Lee-like. But now the stuff Jay Lee's producing is very Jay Lee-like. Meaning I guess he's found his niche. So we just let that pen slip there and screwed that up a bit. Oh well, can't be perfect. So what?
Antonio Salvador Daniel. That's his full name. I just like it. He is known for his work on various books for DC Comics, including Teen Titans, Flash, The Fastest Man Alive, and Batman.
Yeah, I think I actually have some of his work. For some of us, it just depends when you get introduced to a certain person and at what time and how it resonates. Except my style doesn't look anything like Norm Breyfogle, but I am heavily inspired by Breyfogle. I read a lot of his Batman work, well, saw a lot of his Batman drawings, especially when he worked with Moore and some of the greats over at DC. Alright, so that's looking good. That's the Martian Manhunter, John Jones. Oh, I got another pair of glasses on. Christ, in a cartoon.
I wasn't going to mention.
That's okay. Okay, now to finish her up, we're going to sign this puppy. dredfunn likes to do the old scroll work. Honestly, don't know where this came from. At some point in high school, I did it once or twice on a drawing and liked it, and then brought it back many years later. And then I usually add both names, my name Fred Dunn, and then dredfunn printed. 2020, boom. So that's my Martian Manhunter using ink and gray tones.
And as always,
don't forget to like, subscribe, follow,
share.
Please
the
share.
Love.
Share the love.
And all artwork is
awesome. No,
available to purchase.
all artwork is available to be purchased by you. Yeah, no, all artwork, and I'm available for commissions by all means. Contact me online. I'm currently working on something in my head that I'm going to show that'll display some of my other comic styles. What's this?
A YouTube comment on the right.
Hi. Nice.
Nice. From
Martin
Perfect.
Caleri.
Thanks for tuning in, Martin.
Yeah, thanks. Really appreciate it. Pass along. Like I like to tell a lot of young artists that I see with talent, you know, from Little Acorns, Mighty Oaks Grow. I ripped that off from like an Arnold Schwarzenegger book, I think. Anyways, don't forget to like, subscribe, pass it along. Contact me if you're interested in any of the drawings you see here online.
And join us next time for
another episode of
dredfunn Draws.
dredfunn Draws. Cuckoo, ka-choo.
And purple pen. Yep.